Hello and welcome to Even Gentler Yoga for Stronger Bones. This class is designed for older bodies who may have trouble getting down onto the floor and for those who might be managing cancer treatment. You can check out our other video, Gentle Yoga for Stronger Bones, if you want to try a mat class that offers some transitions up and down to the floor. For today's class, we are going to use a chair, a mat, and a yoga strap. You don't have to have a yoga strap. You can use a dog leash, or you can skip that one if that would be better for you. I want to just remind you that the reason we're doing this is because folks over 60 and cancer patients may be at a higher risk for developing osteoporosis, whether it's from the cancer itself or the treatment of it. And exercise has been shown to be an effective intervention for those with bone density loss and safe for those with cancer. Of course, we're going to go at our own pace, and you're going to check with your doctor and make sure that this is okay for you on an individual basis. Today's session is going to include some weight-bearing poses, so we will be standing, as well as poses that apply force to the bone through muscular tension or mechanical leverage. And those are some other ways that we can help the process of forming new bone aside from weight bearing. Yoga is a great way to do this. And research shows that yoga is an effective way to build bone density and has also been shown to even actually reverse bone loss. Amazing. And it's a low impact exercise, so that can be helpful for those with osteoarthritis. Just to check in with the principles of yoga for stronger bones, we're going to be doing no aggressive rounding of the back. We're not going to be rounding the back. We're going to be taking really good care of that part of our body because we're at higher risk for compression fracture in that thoracic spine. We're going to practice stable alignment, so finding safe and stable alignment throughout each pose, not hurrying. We're going to be holding our poses, at least the ones that we're intending to create stronger bone with. We're going to be holding those poses for at least 10 seconds. And this has been shown to be about the amount of time, the baseline amount of time needed for new bones to get stimulated to create those bone-making proteins. And then finally, you're going to listen to your body. I don't know what your body is feeling like today, only you know that. So don't push through discomfort, don't push through pain, and if you're fatigued, take a break. Let's get started. All right, let's begin with the feet on the earth, the seat in the chair, and I'm away from the back of my chair a little bit, and I'm sitting up nice and tall. I'm going to allow my shoulders to relax, the hands are resting in the lap, and I'm just going to close my eyes or soften my gaze down and take a moment to allow myself to arrive. I might notice the breath coming in and out, and taking a few easy breaths, giving myself permission to take really good care of myself throughout the rest of this session. And I'm not going to push through pain or discomfort. I'm going to listen to my body. And I might decide to set an intention for strengthening bone. Opening the eyes. Whenever you're ready, I'm just going to loosen up the neck a little bit, moving the head from side to side. So I want to share with you, the postures that have been proven to help with bone mineral density loss. But I also want to give you a holistic practice that leaves you feeling whole. So I'm not going to just do those poses only. We're going to be doing other poses, a few of them. Let's open the arms out to the sides. I'm going to push my chest forward, bring my arms back, and I'm arching that upper back. I'm squeezing my shoulder blades together. And this is helpful for undoing that rounded posture and getting things moving. So I'll bring the arms in front, interlace the fingers, and just pull the arms away from the body. So really all that's moving are my shoulder blades. They're sliding to the sides. Inhaling, opening wide, pushing the chest forward. Exhaling, interlace, pull the arms away. And we can take one more like that. Interlace the fingers, pull the arms away. And then I'll rest my hands in my lap. I'm going to lean forward with a flat back, right? So, I mean, yes, I have natural curves in my lumbar and in my cervical spine. I'm not forcing that to change. That's never going to change. And I'm leaning forward. I'm trying not to round my back and sink down. So I'm leaning forward with some strength in my back here. And then from here, I'll come up. So I just wanted you to experience what it means to lean forward with a flat back. For this next little movement sequence, I'm going to inhale my arms up. As I exhale, I'll bring my hands to heart center and place them in the lap and lean forward with a flat back. Breathing in, sitting upright, arms rise. Exhale, hands to heart center, bringing them into the lap, leaning forward. Breathing in, breathing out. Let's take one more. And then I'm sitting up from here, and I'm going to interlace my fingers, press the palms away, juice up the fingers. Many of us caring for osteoarthritis in the fingers and the wrists, or issues with peripheral neuropathy. So taking a moment to kind of juice up my hands, my fingers, maybe doing some wrist circles, infinity sign, and shaking it out. All right, I'm going to grab on to the back of my chair, or the sides of my chair here. And just to show you from the sides, again, we're working on undoing the rounded posture. Grabbing onto my seat, lifting my heart, squeezing my shoulder blades together. And this is our chair version of a pose called Cobra. I'm going to pick up my chin just a little bit, unless you have cervical issues in your neck. And I'm going to try to find some easy breaths as I squeeze those shoulder blades together. And then I'll release, and I'll come to that forward movement with a nice flat back. And we can try that again. Grabbing onto the back of the seat, squeezing the shoulder blades together, lifting the heart. Maybe you can lift the chin if that would feel okay. Imagine you're a cobra rising up out of a basket, basking in the sun. And leaning forward, relaxing here a little bit. Very good. We'll come up to sit, and then I'll go ahead and take a little bit of a wider stance with my feet. Taking a wider stance, and I'm noticing my belly, and I'm noticing my lumbar curve here. And I'm just going to tilt the pelvis forward and back a few times. So the only thing moving is your pelvis. Try to do this slowly and gently, especially if you have any issues in your lower back. So this is just to kind of give us a little bit of warm up in the back. And then we can come back to a neutral posture, maybe rub the belly a few times for good measure. So good for digestion. Maybe you're caring for issues with digestion right now. This could be really useful. And then I'll take my hands into my lap and begin to stretch the sides of my body to prepare for one of our stronger bones poses. So I'm going to lift my right arm up and over and lean to the left. Keeping the foot anchored down and the sit bone anchored down. We're releasing back to center and switching sides. Left arm up and over while everything anchors down. And you can move from side to side at your own pace. You can take one more on each side. Really feeling that rib cage, all the little muscles in between the ribs stretching. And then let's come back to center and bring the arms out to the sides like a cactus. And once again, we're being asked to strengthen the upper back, the muscles along the length of the spine. So I'm going to squeeze my shoulder blades together, bring my elbows back, arch the back a little bit, and then we'll bring the forearms in front. See if you can get the forearms to press and the palms to press, a little bit of resistance. Inhale, open, lift the heart. Exhale, press, press, press. And we'll take one more. Open and press. Beautiful. And then I'll take my hands to my chair and I'm just going to walk my feet in and out. Kind of juice up the hips a little bit here. You notice I'm not wearing shoes, but you can wear shoes for this. And especially if you're somebody who cares for peripheral neuropathy or diabetes, you might want to keep the shoes on. All right, stepping the feet back to center and stretching just the right leg out, pointing and flexing. Maybe taking a circle. So I want to warm up all the joints in my body. Before getting into one of our bone strengthening poses. And we're going to try this pose seated. And if you'd like to try a standing version of it, you're welcome to do that, but I'm going to stay seated to show you. All right, so how I'm going to do this warrior two posture is I'm going to bring my right foot over to the right. And you'll notice that my knee is right over my ankle. And then from here, I'm going to stretch this left leg out in front with the heel on the earth, or I could sweep it to the side if that feels okay for me. That could feel like a lot on your hips, so you be the judge. I might be at the very edge of my seat. And then another option would be to try to put the whole sole of the foot on the earth and kind of rotate that hip in a little bit. So I'm zipping everything up. And this is where I'm adding the bone strengthening piece. I'm going to really hug my muscles along my bones here. So that's the warrior two lower body, and then here's the warrior two upper body. We've got mechanical leverage here where just by lifting the arms, I'm putting a little bit more pressure, a little bit more force on my shoulders, and that could help strengthen. And I'll shift my gaze over my right hand, and I want to stay in this, hugging the muscles along my bones in my legs and hips for 10 seconds. So I might take a couple breaths. Very good. Relax for a moment. We're going to stay in this foot shape, or if you need to walk it out, go ahead and do that. I'm going to come to this wide stance again, and I'm just going to bring my right forearm down on my right thigh. And immediately my body wants to crumble in. I want to really resist that and keep that twist to the left. I'm not going to put much weight in this hand. And then I'm going to lift my left arm up and over, if that would feel okay. You can always rest the hand on the hip if you have issues in this left shoulder. So you see my palm is facing my, I guess it's a left cheek, right? My left cheek. And this could be where you stay here, hugging the muscles along the bones, getting really long. And then we're going to come up from here and walk it out. So walking it out between sides. Opposite arm, opposite leg. See if you can really get things swinging and moving. Take a couple of big breaths. That was a lot on the hip. So let's try the other side. I'm going to bring my left leg over to the left. My knee is over my ankle. I'll bring my right leg straight out in front with the heel on the earth. I might be able to sweep that leg to the side a little bit. I want to stay upright, no rounding. Additionally, I might be able to bring my sole of the foot onto the earth and angle the foot in. I'm keeping my torso pointed towards you. Hugging all the muscles along the bones, and then floating the arms up, equally in both directions, turning the gaze over that left hand and holding my effort in my legs, squeezing those muscles, and then easing effort from my shoulders and from my jaw, finding some ease. All right, softening the arms down. So we're relaxing a bit, and then we're going to come into extended side angle, another one of Dr. Fishman's studied poses. And we're doing a chair version of it. We're just going to hug those muscles along the bones again like we did in Warrior Two. And we're going to bring this left forearm down. We're going to lean down, resist the urge to crumble, try to twist open to the right, and that right arm can come up and over. And I'm getting really long here. Still hugging the muscles along the bones, finding my breath. And releasing when I'm ready to release, walking it out. Opposite arm, opposite leg. All right, I'm already feeling so vital from just these few things we've done. Now you have an option to come to stand. Right? If you're feeling really fatigued today, maybe this is where you get off the train and you decide to take a 5-minute just snooze on the couch. Otherwise, you might feel like transitioning to a standing posture would be good for you today. So we can do some weight-bearing poses. So I'm going to transition slowly. I'm never ever in a hurry. I want to make sure my surroundings are clear. I'm not going to trip over anything. Got my hands in my lap. I'm creating some momentum, nose over knees, and I'm gazing where I want to go. I'm not gazing down. And I'll just come up nice and slow, walk it out a little bit, take a sip of water if you need it, anytime. And then we'll come into a standing mountain pose. So I've got my chair here, and I'm going to bring my feet about hips width distance apart. Anchor down into the earth. Draw up some of that earth strength and energy. And we're going to practice moving the toes, lifting the toes, spreading the toes wide, digging them back down. Lifting, spreading, digging a few times. Could be helpful for those of us with peripheral neuropathy in the lower limbs to bring more awareness to this part of the body where we might have decreased sensation. From here, I'll invite you to come up onto your tiptoes and release down. Maybe you want to take one arm up. Maybe you're working towards both arms lifting. You could keep the hand on the chair the whole time, breathing in, breathing out. We're strengthening the calves, strengthening the ankles, the feet, putting a little bit of load into the ankle bones. All right. And maybe one more float up and float down. Beautiful. So I'm going to take the shape of my chair now with my feet hips distance apart. I'm going to sink down into my knees and bring my hips back. I want to be able to look down and see my toes. And I'm pushing my feet apart isometrically. And once I do that, I can really feel the muscles working in my glutes. And this is that muscular tension that we're putting on the bones. We're loading that force onto the bones, and hopefully new bone is forming as a result. So I'm going to tip my belly towards my spine, integrate there, and maybe mechanical leverage, bringing my arms out. Chin is level with the earth. I'm taking some breaths here. And then when I'm ready to come out of it, I'm walking it out. Beautiful. And then we can take a high lunge here. So I've got the right foot forward and the left foot back. I'm going to have all 10 toes pointing towards my chair, and I'm lifting my back leg, squeezing my left glute muscle, and just keeping my heart lifted, my torso upright. It's a good stretch, especially if you've been sitting for a while. I might stay here, or I might take one or both hands to the heart. options. And then we'll go ahead and simply switch sides. Left foot forward, right foot back, all 10 toes pointing the same direction. Widen your stance for more stability. Try to find a stability here with your alignment. Squeezing the right glute muscle and bringing one or both hands to heart center. Finding your breath. Beautiful. Now we're going to step back to a downward facing dog. Downward facing dog, unless you are caring for glaucoma or vertigo, you might take a peek down at the toes. And I'm lifting my kneecaps. So the backs of the legs are stretching and the fronts of the legs are strengthening. This is that dynamic tension we were talking about in our webinar. Come up nice and slow. All right. And then let's take a wider stance and maybe circle the hips a little bit. One direction and the other. And I might do a little more side bending, just getting ready for our next pose. All right. So let's come to bring this chair over onto my right side. I'm having a nice wide stance, not too wide. I'm going to move into a triangle pose now. So I'm going to bring my right toes to the right, and I'm going to angle my left toes in a lot. I'm going to let this hip travel with me. And this could be enough for me, right? I might be feeling enough, or I might be able to lean towards my chair, and I'm keeping this left shoulder back, and this right arm might reach to the right. Excuse me, left arm might reach to the left. This might be as far as I want to go in my triangle, right? The other option would be to come down a little bit farther. Maybe you want to just take the hand onto the leg, keeping that left shoulder back. Right? Maybe I can reach the seat of my chair here. Maybe that left arm comes up, and my gaze is going to be wherever feels safest for me and my neck. So if you're somebody who has neck issues and cranking the neck up might feel like too much, you could even gaze down. And I'm squeezing the muscles along the bones, and I've talked long enough for it to be bone strengthening by now. So let's come up out of it. All right, wide stance, circle the hips, release that. In between sides, I am going to do a little wide-legged forward fold. Right, so I might take my chair in front, bring a nice wide stance, and with a flat back, right? So flat back, I am going to, without rounding my back, I'm going to take a forward fold here. Maybe my forearms come to the top of the chair, right? Or maybe my hands come to the seat of the chair. Again, I'm strengthening the fronts of my legs while the backs of the legs stretch. I could tuck my chin and just take a few easy breaths here. Wide-legged forward fold. And then slowly making your way up. And we'll switch sides, triangle on the other side. So I've got that slightly wide stance, left toes to the left, angle the right foot in, the hip goes with you. And I've got my hand on my hip here. I'm just going to lean over to the left, and I'm trying to keep my right shoulder back rather than crumbling in. I'm just leaning forward and I'm squeezing those muscles along the bones. Right, this might be where you stay. You might want to reach the right arm up. Triangle is a very difficult pose, but it does great things for bone strengthening in the lumbar spine and in the hips. So I might be able to come down a little farther. I could put my hand on my leg. I could even angle that. I could sass out that right hip like a sassy teenager Maybe the hand comes down onto the chair. Again, I'm resisting that urge to crumble forward. And I'm finding my breath. And that's quite enough time for some bone strengthening to happen. Come on up nice and slow. And let's just walk it out before we do our tree pose, the balance pose. That is one of my favorite poses and one of the poses done in the study. So you can imagine a weight-bearing pose where you're only standing on one leg is going to put more force on that standing leg. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to start with the chair over here on my right side. I'm going to put the weight into my right foot, and I'm going to pick up my left heel and open it to the side. I could pick up my leg, and maybe the toe stays on the earth, or maybe it comes to the calf. And I might take my left hand to my heart. I'm squeezing the muscles along the bones, and I'm zipping everything up. I have a soft bend in my right knee, and I might be working towards, just for a millisecond, bringing the hands to heart center. If I wobble out of it, that's okay. But I want to try to hold this long enough to get the bone strengthening impact. Low impact, of course, on the joints. And coming out of it, walking it out. And then we'll switch it up. Bringing the weight into the left leg, soft bend. Pick up the right heel, open the leg to the side so we have that mechanical leverage, a little bit extra with the leg out to the side. This might be where you stay, or you might want to bring the foot up. I'm zipping everything up, hugging my muscles along my bones, adding that little extra for my bone strengthening. And I'm working towards taking my hands to heart center. Maybe it's just for a moment. Maybe I have to go back and forth. I can find a place to gaze that's far away and let myself relax a little bit here into my balanced posture. And then walking it out. I can really feel the good work we did in chair pose and tree pose. So I'm going to take one more downward facing dog before I come back down to sit. Again, lifting those kneecaps. Finding my breath, maybe at the back of my body. And then ever so slowly, carefully making my way up. Maybe taking that sip of water before you come to sit, making sure you have your strap, and coming to sit nice and slow. All right, so I've got my strap, and I'm at the edge of my chair here. I'm going to make a loop with my strap, step into the loop with my right foot, and just find a place where it feels best for you. I'm going to lift this right leg up. I'm going to hold a piece of the strap in each hand, and I'm sitting up tall here. So not only am I pulling the strap towards me, but I'm pushing the leg into the strap. So this is a pose, this is a version of the pose, big toe hold. And then from here, I'm going to take the strap into the right hand and gradually open that left leg to the, the right leg to the right. Maybe you feel comfortable bringing the left arm to the left. And we're hugging the muscle along the bone. And we're really working with that mechanical leverage here. So it's putting more pressure on that right hip. I feel like I should say yeehaw right here. And then coming back to center. Maybe you want to cross the midline just for a millisecond, little stretch there. And then I'm going to switch it up. So I'm stepping the left foot into my strap. Picking that leg up. I'm sitting up tall. If you can't sit up tall and keep a tall spine here, you have to be in a rounded spine. Please come to sit at the back of your chair. So I'd rather you do that. So sitting up tall, pressing the foot into the strap, pulling the strap back. And then we're gonna take the strap into the left hand, open to the left. Doesn't have to go very far. Doesn't have to go as far as I'm going. Sitting up tall, hugging the muscle along the bone. Finding a few easy breaths. And if your breath becomes ragged, you're working too hard. Ease up. Come on back to center, nice and slow. And cross the midline for a millisecond. And then release the strap down. So I'm going to roll up my strap, and as I roll up my strap, I'm going to see if I can notice how many breaths I take, how many breaths it takes for me to roll up my strap. All right, let's close out with 2 more poses. Just that right ankle coming over that left knee. Maybe you want to massage the foot for a moment. Massage can be really lovely for peripheral neuropathy, other foot issues. So I'm grabbing onto my shin, and I might already be feeling enough sensation here, or I could reach my heart forward with a flat back, letting the shoulders relax, tucking my chin, and taking a few breaths here. Coming up to sit, you can cross the knee over. And we're going to take a twist now, using all of our core muscles to do the work. I'm not going to force this, and it's a very gentle twist. I want to make sure that I'm staying really tall here. So I'm not rounding at all when I twist. I'm twisting to the right, and then I might rest my hands in a way that helps support my twist. Chin is level with the earth. As I breathe in, I'm getting taller. As I breathe out, I might twist a little bit deeper. Twists are safe for those with osteoporosis, osteopenia, if they are done properly and safely. Come on back to center. So we can take a very gentle twist, and as long as we are integrating our muscles around the spine and staying tall, we should be okay. Of course, you can check with your own wellness professionals just to make sure that that's true for you, because everybody is different. Just my little disclaimer. So I've got my left ankle over my right knee, and I'm massaging that left foot, thanking my foot for everything that it's done, carrying me through these many years. Grabbing onto my shin. I might already be feeling enough sensation here. I'm not going to force this, but I might be able to lean forward a little bit with a flat back, soften the shoulders. Take some easy breaths. And when you're ready to come out of it, sitting up tall, crossing the knee over. The knees are nestling, and we're taking that really integrated twist to the left. So using all those muscles in the core, along the back, and staying tall, staying lifted. Using those hands to support and keeping the chin level. I'll take a couple breaths here. And this can be wonderful for drying out, for those dried out discs, right? Those desiccated discs, we can help irrigate. Come on back to center. And maybe you want to take one last stretch. Any other movements the body's asking for? Maybe you want to give yourself a hug for taking really good care of yourself today. And then we'll wind down with just 1 minute of rest and breathing. So I'm going to come to the back of my seat, and I'm going to allow myself to maybe relax a little bit here and relax the effort. I'm not slumped forward, but I'm relaxed. And I'm going to close my eyes, letting go of effort through my shoulders, through my fingertips. Letting the effort drain from my lower back, my hips, my knees, and feeling the imprint of my feet upon the earth. Letting my belly soften. Breathing in, breathing out. Maybe I can draw up some nourishment from the earth. Imagine all of the elements of the earth that could help you be stronger, all of the minerals found in rocks, some of those really hard woods, imagining that strength in your bones. Can you take 3 more breaths in a row? And then we might just rub the hands together. Take off your glasses if you've been wearing them and cup the palms over the eyes. Roll the eyes around within the eye sockets. Could help with dry eye. And then we can bring the hands to heart center and close our session today with the sound of 1 Om and 3 Shantis for peace. You can just listen or join in. So I'm taking a breath in. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thanking you so much for your practice today, my friends. Namaste.